city employees Stacie Plummer of Richmond and LaVonda Atkinson of San Francisco. First, I'm going to call up Ms. Plummer. Ms. Plummer publicly revealed in 2013 that Richmond's finance director was running a gift basket business from her City Hall office. After this was made public, the director retired, and Plummer remains an advocate for the transparency in Richmond even as she sues the city in federal court for its retaliation. Please join me in congratulating Stacie Plummer.
Since I've listened to this so far, this is a beautiful room for a whistleblower. You don't understand. So I thank you all for being here and I'm moved. It's with a great sense of gratitude and appreciation. I want to thank the Northern California chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists and the Freedom of Information Committee for this award. I too have to share this award. I'd also like to thank Drs. Kerr and Dr. Rivera for their support and advocacy of whistleblowers. I recently had the opportunity to read an article that Dr. Kerr was writing about whistleblower trauma. While I can't say I completely recovered from the whistleblower experience, I wanted to acknowledge my healing tonight. Through the help of journalists and the media, community activists, family, friends, and dedicated Richmond residents who stood with me and who still stand with me today. I wanted to invite as many as I could here tonight. We all needed a celebration, so I got 2 tables. Just wave to everybody. I'm a public servant who is required to uphold the Constitution. But when one spends the majority of their waking hours in an organizational culture that consistently reiterates that freedom of information does not exist, it can be quite demoralizing, to say the least. So yesterday, I had the opportunity to meet a new FBI agent, and I had a chance to tell him about this, and he said, well, that should put some wind in your sails. And I said, I needed some wind in my sails, and you're right. So I thank you all for putting wind back in my sails. This award lets me know that the First Amendment and transparency in government are important to the world and that they really do matter. I thank you all for that confirmation and reassurance. Thank you.
LaVonda Atkinson. She was just weeks into her contract job as a cost engineer on San Francisco's $1.6 billion Central Subway project when she used the city whistleblower program to expose financial irregularities totaling tens of millions of dollars. She also turned a trove of documents over to a reporter who wrote an expose about the scandal. We always love when you do that. Please join me in congratulating LaVonda Atkinson.
Thank you very much. My good colleague, Louis Ames, is here, and he said he would do, oh, there you are, come on up here with me. I just want to say very briefly, in 2009, I began working at General Dynamics. My first week on the job was Halloween, and they had a Halloween dress up. And the person who won first place was dressed up in fake dreadlocks, and he had a big parrot on his shoulder and a fake doobie, or whatever they call the weed thing. And I was sitting there thinking, where is HR? Well, HR was taking pictures. So they warned me, they said, well, no, you're new here. There are a lot of racial issues. Don't worry about it. If they bug you too much, just come sit in my office and cry about it. Try to fly under the radar, you'll be fine. Well, 6 months later, that wasn't working out, and I had to move on. In 2010, I moved on to Berkeley National Lab, leaving General Dynamics with a lawyer behind me. Berkeley National Lab, I loved it, I was ecstatic. I left there in July 2012. After 7 months of investigation by Human Resources, they agreed that I had been sexually harassed. I've been receiving 400 to 600 text messages a day from one of the facility's directors. And they said, okay, well, what we did to correct it is he's going to retire and you're fired. That was the end of my job at Berkeley National Lab. I then went on to work at SFMTA for Central Subway Project. I was ecstatic. I remember when we voted for this project back in 1989 when my son was first born, and now we're finally gonna get that subway when my son will have grandchildren. But regardless, I wanted to be there. But before I went, I was looking online, concerned about what do the citizens know. SaveNorthBeach.com was one of the organizations that was speaking up about issues on this project. So when I went on and I took the job, I made sure that every month I checked on their blog. If they said, we didn't get the report this month, I personally emailed them and said, hey, here's the report. I don't know what happened on the website, but here's that information. I tried my best to stay in touch with the community as well as with my management to inform them of the issues that I was looking at. That you can't spend millions of dollars from the federal government on a city item, then delete it from the report and say, well, we'll put it in later once we pay it back. That's not how financial reporting works. So as time went on, that job wasn't working out for me. At one point, I was told, sit down, shut up, don't think, and type what we tell you to type. At that point, I appreciate Joe Eskenazi, who is in here tonight at SF Weekly, who spent months with me, hours and hours reviewing the reports, more time than the controller's office or anyone else has sat down with me to understand what's going on, to publish the article that cost me my job. But I am glad to give up that job. If my job was intended to be to hide information and cheat the American people, that is not what I signed on to do. It's very difficult and dark and depressing living inside the Whistle. And I thank you very much for this award because it certainly gave me light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you all very much.